Good evening and welcome back to SFR. We are here at the Mexican Grand Prix for round 18 of the 24 calendar, and we are here with a new guest, which is Ellie. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. I'm looking forward to this one. We saw a brilliant race last week in USA, and we saw a brilliant race in Division 3 yesterday as well, where the weather really spiced things up. But here in Division 2, let's see how it goes. Our championship leader, I've noticed, is not here tonight, which is Owen Mansell, my commentator
Oh yeah.
for Division 1. So he's not making it here tonight. So Burmeister and Adams have a big opportunity to try and gain as many points as they can to try and beat Mansell, because Burmeister's only 11 points away. Burmeister has scored a lot of points the last three races, outscored him in the last three races, has Burmeister, so he's been on current form so far.
Good on him.
Let's
Good
see then who's the
opportunity
first
today.
one on the lap. I think it's the RB who's going to be the first one on the lap, so it's Sonic Hawk in the RB. Now, both RBs, they do have good qualifying, but in the race, it's just that they don't have the pace to try and match the other people, unfortunately. Is that the Haas and the RB getting close for comfort? I think it was, but it looks like they escaped free. That's
They bumped
Yarham.
into each other.
Yarham is... Right, so Yarham's on his out lap, and he's just the first one out there. So we'll go on board with him, and I'll explain to you the 5.4 kilometre circuit, sorry, 4.3 kilometre circuit. I had the wrong track map up. So here we are in the stadium section, then as he prepares the tyres and the brakes before we head towards the final corner. And let's see what the lap time is going to be for Yarham. It's going to be... let's see what he can do as a benchmark here as he crosses the line now with the DRS enabled. Not just yet, because it is further down. The detection point is before the final corner. We've got two DRS zones for one detection point, or one detection point for two DRS zones as we make our way towards the first corner. Then braking just before the 100-metre board. Down to the gears we go. Clips the apex on the inside. Same for turn 2 and turn 3. Nice usage there. Nice curb usage there for Yarham, really maximising all the potential you can get in the Haas, just trying to see where the limits are as we go towards this nice degree left-hander, braking at the 100-metre board, hard on the brakes going into turn 4 and turn 5, just been very smooth with the throttle. It is a slow-speed corner, so it's very difficult to get the throttle without losing traction there. You've been very gingerly on the throttle as he does. Bit of oversteer on the exit too, the car moving around slightly as we go towards turns. There we go, flicking in, carrying the speed through fifth gear, using the bit of curb on the inside. Try not to use too much curb through here because it bottoms out. We've seen it plenty of times with George Russell. Was the latest victim that smashed into the wall in FP3. Here comes Yarham towards turn number 12 right now. Flicks the car in, carries a lot of speed. Now, straight-handed braking going through here. You don't want any rear locking through here because it's a slow-speed corner and your tyres were over here as well as you tortured them the whole lap. But here he is then, flicks it in towards the final two corners on the throttle, and let's see what the benchmark is. It's a 14.6 as our first lap time there, Ellie.
Very nice. Sonic Hawk. Not that fast. Not compared to Yarham.
Nice comments there from Ellie right there, but Sonic Hawk with a 15.6 in comparison to Yarham. These are the first opening laps, of course, so we won't see any spectacular lap times. Smoke goes into P2, surprisingly, because his pace has been great. Klusler goes into P2 now with a 15.1. Keith is coming towards the stadium section, the two-time race winner here this season when he took it off Adams in China, and he also won at the Bahrain Grand Prix, which was the first race of the season, which was a long time ago. Here comes Keith towards the line now at 15.4, and he puts his McLaren up into P8, or dropped into P8 because Ginger Tiger goes up into P4 in the Sauber. But Ellie, you raced around here. You know the strategy. You know how it's like to drive around here. Explain to us how difficult are the conditions.
I mean, the mediums weren't really the best pick for me. I struggled after like lap 6. I was in the top 3 most of the race as well, so I was fighting a lot, so maybe a lot more tyre wear on my half, but definitely the hards were much nicer, and I could have done with a better setup, but last minute practice. So we'll see how today's race go. I always like to see who start on mediums or who starts on hards. It's always quite exciting to see.
Well, there's one person out there who's on the medium compound tyres right now, which is Ginger Tiger. I believe he's also one of those drivers that likes to run the mediums in qualifying and save a set of softs. And he's currently sat with a 15.1, so 5 tenths away from Yarham, which is not bad at all. Not bad attempt. Adams goes into P2, the man in P2 in the championship as well, so looking good for him. Burmeister, his competitor, is in P4 as well. So great pace again, once again from Burmeister, as he always does. Qualifying hasn't really been his strongest suit so far this season, but He has got a good race pace, so it backs it up and it equals it out. Oliver's teammate, who picked up his first podium of the season last week in third place, it was a double Williams podium. Mindful Wasp goes up into P2 with a 14.7, 400s clear. And Oliver, unfortunately, has a validated lap time. Atlas Copo goes towards the top of the time machines. Now, Ellie, I don't know if you watch Div 2 a lot, but Atlas Copo and Xenum are the ones to watch in qualifying. But when it comes to the race, they tend to lose that momentum.
I usually watch every now and again to see Mansell race, but he's not here today, so I don't know who I'm cheering on.
Well, we've got to be unbiased here because we are watching as commentators, so no biasness here.
No.
We'll see then who else is around the circuit. Electro Dan, who made his debut for the first time this season, finished in P6 at the USA Grand Prix. Currently on lap time right now as he makes his way through the 90-degree right-handed before we flick it in towards the two medium-speed corners. Gets on the thought. There was a bit of a wheel spin in the exit, but won't affect him too much. His teammate currently in P2 as he makes his way towards turn 8 we go. In 5th gear, carrying the speed through as well. You can see the back end of the car sliding as he used a lot of curve through there too. It's all about car placement. It's all about how you tackle the curves through there as well, because too much curve can send you spinning into the barriers. The purple middle sector there as he collapses the curve as we go in towards the slow speed stadium section where the tyres will be very hot at this stage, so you can be very careful with traction. Here we are coming towards the final two corners. What can Electro Dan do in the Haas? And let's see as he crosses the line. It's going to be a 14.8 and he puts himself into P5. Right, let's see who else is out there on a lap time. And then we've got Lord Brad, the top G. I haven't spoken about him so far, but this is the man that won the USA Grand Prix last week. Great pace from starts to mediums to hards, the most preferred strategy. He made his appearance the race before in Spain, and can top G, let's see what he could do that. This makes his way towards the finish line. It's going to be a 14.8. That's incredibly close, Ali, between those guys.
Very. I'm just watching Cassidy now. Oh, I know he comes in.
I think Xenum is not on a lap time. He's run out of fuel actually, so no lap time for him. But there is your initial classifications. Then 8 minutes have gone, and Alex Copo in the Red Bull takes pole. I think Copo's had quite a few poles this season. Saying that, he's had 2 poles this season. Here comes Jorholm now, round the final corner to start another flying lap in the house. And I say this every single week, Eddie, that Jorholm, he's got great pace in qualifying, but he just can't seem to find a break in the race, whether it's down to setup where he's driving or making contact with people, his consistency. He just can't combine all those elements, try and put it into a good result. I just say it every single week, is this the race he could do it? But it seems that qualifying is his strongest suit, but in the race, he just can't do it. Let's see what he does then. A few hundreds for the first sector before we go towards the slow speed corners. Valtteri Bottas and Kimi Räikkönen crashed there back in 2015 when they were fighting over a podium. And I can't remember who they gave it towards, but unfortunately for those two, both were making contact. I think Bottas got it that day because Räikkönen was Jorholm then making his way towards the twisted turns in the high-speed section in 6th gear. No signs of lifting off. Used a bit of overtake on the exit too before we make our way towards the end of the middle sector. 2/10 up in the middle sector is Jorholm. Can he keep it up then as we make our way? The car moving around a bit as he wants to snap away from it. A bit wide going in towards turn 13 there. So let's see if it did lose him any time. Somebody else crossed the line. I think it was Klus. Let's go up to P4. As here comes Jorholm towards the line, it's going to be a 14.5. He did lose a bit of time, Ellie, in the final sector.
He did slide through the last corner, so he probably can go quicker if he's going to try for it.
And what do you think about this track overall, Ellie? Is it a good track for you? Do you like the track, or is it a bit difficult?
I quite enjoy it. I feel like it's a good track. It's quite nice to go around. I feel like it's a very smooth track. Probably not one of my favourites, though. Yeah, it depends. Not in the rain. Hate it in the rain, like the race yesterday. But in the dry, definitely, I think it's a good lap. And Smoke goes first.
Smoke with a 14.4, then a 10th ahead of Jorholm. And let's see then, can he remain on pole position as his contenders are chasing after him? I think we've got Klus on a flying lap as he makes his way towards the S section. Coming towards now the fast. Oh, he's very close towards Chalmers there. He's really attacking the curbs there. Really flicking the car in. Coming towards the middle sector. Only, 5 seconds down. So yeah, not a lot of time. Just want to see who is on a lap time We've got quite a lot of people on the track. We've got Martin, who's 2/10 of the first sector, but must have made a mistake somewhere. So I wonder what happened to him. Mindful Wasp was going for 4 laps on these set of soft compound tyres, so expect him to be quicker once he puts on a bonus set of softs and lowers the fuel down. Adams is coming towards now the turn 12, and let's see, can Adams improve in P6? His championship rival is down in P15, but we know Burmeister can improve. There is a Williams ahead of us. That's both Williams, so I think one of them is about to make his way towards the line. It's P2 for Burmeister. Here comes Adams across the line now. 14.5, and he puts himself into P3 there. The top 3 heavy contenders in this division, and that's where they are right now. This is going to be a thrill of a race if they remain as they are. But yeah, the top 3 then separated by under a tenth, and we'll see what happens towards the end of the session with Burmeister ahead of Adams, crucially in the championship as well. P2 is Burmeister. This is a big day for Burmeister and Adams. They could take away the championship lead from Owen Mansell. Unfortunately, he's not here tonight. I think he's Mansell's one and only race he's missed so far this season, so it's a crucial one, and not many races left to go early this season.
No, not many at all. It'll be interesting to see if he comes back next week. Otherwise, he's missing out on some crucial points for the championship.
He is indeed. Here's Cassidy now coming towards turn 12 as he's currently a few hundreds up in the first set. Cassidy, who's currently down in P9 in the championships, has 3 podiums. He's been quite close to 8 wins, especially down in Miami, but got beaten by Adams. Here comes Cassidy now sliding out the final corner to go up into P6. So he found a lot of time in the last sector, and now he's inside the top 10, crucially ahead of his teammate as well. Oh, Alex Copo has crashed at the exit of turn 3, has lost his end plate too, and unfortunately for him, but luckily for him too, he's able to keep going. Oliver's gone up into P7 in the Williams. I think somebody else moved up the order too during that, but I'm not quite sure who it was. In Mills in P13. This has not been a good session so far from Ferrari. We see the Ferrari contenders usually up there all the time in qualifying, but he's seen him now coming towards turn 4. He goes, and let's see, can Zinn improve? He's down in P18, but a 15.1 with Energy Dan coming across the line now to go up into P12. But I want to stay on board with Zeno to see what he could do in the Ferrari. He has taken pole this season so far, has Zenum. But let's see then, as he makes his way towards the end of the middle sector, what's it going to be for the man from Norway as he makes his way towards the intermediate splits? 3 tenths up, and those 3 tenths are still not enough to potentially put him inside the top 10. So he is on the back foot here, is the Ferrari driver. Very good in qualifying, but slips backwards during the race with a few mistakes to go along with it. But can he put himself inside the top 10? Can he find any more time in the last sector? Here he is towards the line. It's going to be a 14.9. It's only P15, Ellie.
Shocking. Not having a good quali, him. Neither of the Ferraris, really.
A massive contrast to the Mexican Grand Prix on Sunday, where we saw Carlos Sainz take pole ahead of Verstappen, Norris and Leclerc. But we'll see, can the Ferraris bounce back during the race? Mindful Wasp, and now Mindful Wasp is a very interesting driver because he was very strong towards the start of the season. Did pick up a podium back in Saudi Arabia, but along with that, towards the mid-season, he has dropped away. Still scored some good points back in Singapore when he finished in 4th place. Unfortunately for him, Smoke managed to get him on the better tyres, and he picked himself up a 6-second penalty, where I think Smoke picked up 1 penalty, and that's how Smoke was able to get him. Here he is out of turn 3. Driving the cars through the corners really nicely there as we exit the corner going into turn 4. Look at the amount of EOS already used. That's headed down to turn 4. So I think Mindful Wasp has got a lot of EOS saving to do in this middle sector because he's already derating down into turn 4. Going into towards the double right-hander we go. On the throttle again, let the car roll through, which he did very nicely indeed as we go towards now the left-hander. Down to 4th gear. Some people do go up into Gear 5, but he went down into Gear 4, and now we're making our way towards the end of the sector with the DRS enabled for Mindful Wasp as he gets towards that intermediate split. He's currently a 10th up, and let's see, where is this 10 going to put him? Potentially P4, depends if he gains or loses time then. Let's see what he does coming towards these slow speed corners we go. Attacking the curves really nicely there, lean on the curves too, and let's see, takes a wider angle. That's where Lawrence Stroll crashed as well back in 2021, I believe it was. Here he is, P4 for him. All considering things, that's a very good lap time there for Mindful Wasp because he was down in the middle sector, but he did find more time in the last sector, and he almost got P3 by a few hundreds away. That's 200s away from Adams and P3, so good qualifying there from Mindful Wasp. But majority of drivers are in the pit lane waiting for the later stages, and we'll see then who could take pole away from Smoke, who ever since been on form this season, has been on fire, and Burmeister will be looking over his shoulders too to see what Adams does in P3 to respond to him. And Yorham, another great qualifying session from him in P5, and with a 14.5, can be very happy with that one indeed. He is on a lap time, but he's a few hundreds down in the first sector. Can he make up with the lost time? Will he dive back in the pit lane? Will he have enough time to go in and out again, depending what he does right now? Look at that amount of curb he uses. Sometimes the car bottoms out in the corner and you lose the rear end like George Russell did. But he has validated there, Ellie.
Sorry, say that again. I was just looking, Yorham and Mindful Wasp very close between times, so if Yorham does want to go out again if he has time, I don't think he will. But it wouldn't take him much to get past Mindful Wasp.
Yorham, he doesn't have enough time to go back in the pit lane and put a brand new set of sock up hard tyres, so he's on the back foot here in terms of starting another lap with 50% battery, 100% battery used. Unfortunately for him, half of it's gone, and Clusto on board with him in the Red Bull coming towards the end of the sector, 10th down, so he was a few hundreds down in the first sector, but lost a bit more time, goes a bit wide, but escapes from that. In the real life F1, your lap time would have been invalidated, but in the game, it doesn't fully acknowledge it, and we're coming towards the final two corners now. Did that? No, he's not. He's in the pit lane, so that's his lap time done.
Yorham doesn't pit. He goes for another lap. But surely he's going to run out of fuel now.
It will definitely run out of battery for sure, but in terms of fuel, I think he was okay with that. Here comes Electro down in the other Haas as he makes his way towards the line. It's a 14.4. The top three separated by under 400ths of a second there. That is super close between the top three. And Electro down in the Haas, which Haas needs some good points as well, especially with Yorham and MCFC's mistakes this season. Burmeister going through turn 1 to turn 3. Very nicely indeed. The DRS enabled for the Williams driver might pick up a bit of a tow from the Red Bull in front of us. He's currently a few hundreds down in the first sector. Cassidy goes up into P2 with a 14.4. Can they get any closer than this? This is extraordinary what we're seeing here in Division 2. Week in, week out, Burmeister drifting through the exit of turn 6 before the Williams heads down towards turn 7 there. A slight lift off. Back on the slot immediately, attacking the curves there, using all the curve can get away with. A bit of overtake as well in the middle part of that segment. Coming out of the DRS zone then, he's derating down the straight as he's currently a few hundreds down the first sector, or up, sorry, but that's crucial. These few hundreds could put him into pole. I think somebody's crossed on the straight there, I'm not quite sure who that was, as Burmeister now makes his way towards the slow speed corners. Can Burmeister put himself back on pole? We're about to find out now. Qualifying is done and dusted. Burmeister is headed towards the line. It's a 14.3. He's improved by a margin as well, but Smoke is still on the circuit, but he's not improving in the first sector, is the Alpine driver. So let's see then, as he makes his way towards this middle sector here, can he find the time he needs to put himself on pole? Adams goes up into P2 with a 14.3. The championship contenders from second and third are first and second right now, but can Smoke separate them? No, he can't. He's a 10th down the middle sector. I don't think he can make the time up in the last sector. Could Smoke then, so he might have to settle for P3. Great qualifying there from Cassidy. Electro down as well. Great qualifying from him. Same with Mindful Wasp. Now Zenon finally gets a lot on the board. P6. Here comes Smoke towards the line. What's it going to be? It's a 14.4. He did find time, but not enough to improve on his own lap time or beat his position. Wow, what a qualifying session that was. Ellie, I hope you enjoyed that. And this 36-lap race will get very interesting because with times like that being super close, and Energy Dan in the final segment of qualifying puts his Alpine into P7. Looks like he was struggling earlier on.
Yeah, it did.
I am a bit ill, sorry, for my voice will go from time to time. Trying to make sure I don't cough as much.
I'll talk for you.
Thank you very much.
It's going to be an interesting fight, though, for the top 5, really. All very close within times. So, excited to see what the first lap's going to look like.
I really hope we get some spicy racing action because we've always seen it, especially in the lower divisions where all of these drivers go at it. And here are your classifications then. So the Williams are Burmeister on pole, ahead of Adrian's by 200ths of a second. The top 5 separated by under a tenth. That is incredibly close. That is extraordinary as well. Look at that. The top 10 separated by under... I can't see that because the comment section just came in. But the top 10 are separated by under... What is that? I can't see it. Go comment section. Go.
2/10.
Yeah, 2/10. That's just incredibly close. Oliver's 2/10 away in P11, so
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with all these drivers getting close proximity of each other. But Ellie, I'm going to head off to the toilet, so I'll leave you to do the talking. Get Aldous on here to support you.
Oh God. He's just. He's gone to the toilet. Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm back. It does look a bit cloudy like that yesterday, there, Ellie. And I didn't expect the rain to come through yesterday because it was sunny, and me and Dad did not notice when the clouds were gathering in. And all of a sudden, the rain impacted the circuit, and it
Yeah.
changed everything in that race, especially for you, unfortunately for you.
I know, yeah. Me and Rain don't get along, ruined my P3, but it came very quick and it very suddenly got very wet. So I was surprised with how quick it came. So it'll be interesting to see if there is rain during this race. It'll be nice to see if there is, but hoping for the drivers themselves that it stays nice and sunny for them.
Yeah, I got a race around here tomorrow, unfortunately. Here, that's a SFR Division 1 ex Indigo, or Jamie, myself, will be taking part tomorrow in Mexico, and I'm not looking forward to it because I wanted to race around USA because I really love that track and I've got good history too around that circuit. But let's talk about last week's race. I know you probably haven't watched it, but I'll summarise it for you. So in USA, it was the top G who made his debut at the Spanish Grand Prix. He didn't he had good pace, but unfortunately, I think the safety car cost. And he finished in P1 at the USA Grand Prix, defending from both Williams, who were attacking him later on. The safety car came at the right time for him, enabling him to go from mediums to hards on his strategy, whereas other people went from hards to mediums, and it turns out the safety car came out too early for those hard runners at the start. So switching over to the medium compound tyres wasn't really ideal for them, as they had to suffer towards the end on degraded medium compound tyres. It was a double Williams podium. Mansell finished in P4, being stuck behind Oliver, but crucially for him, got past Calvin Racing. But both Williams there using each other as DRS and keeping the Aston Martin at bay enabled both Williams to have a podium for the first time this season, because I know that Burmeister hasn't really had a teammate to be up there alongside him, but now Oliver has joined the force in SFR Division 2. He could really start to make inroads on the championship, on the constructors as well. But here we are then with the tyre strategies. Let's have a look to see what other people have gone for. So look at that, a split between mediums and hards, Ellie.
Yeah, Naldus is just faffing about the controller. There we go. Yeah, very good split between the mediums and the hards.
We have seen the strategy. The mediums to hards are the better tyres to use, because the medium compound tyres, yes, they may not be a great tyre, but you have to deal with them in the early parts and go through that phase where you have no grip, your tyres are constantly overheating, and they're constantly sliding around. But once you switch over to the hard compound tyres, that's when it becomes better, with the grip starts to come to your favours. For the people from going to hards to mediums, it might suffer towards the end when they go to medium compound tyres. So it has been the better strategy in this game, but in recent games the strategy's been like hards to mediums most of the time. It used to be a two-stop around here in the olden games. Can't remember what it was, but yeah, the two stops were introduced around here in Mexico: Abu Dhabi, Singapore, and USA. I remember that always. But here we are then. What's your predictions for this race, Ellie? What do you think is going to happen?
I feel like it's going to be a case of yesterday, where it's going to be a very close battle upfield. Yesterday we all kind of stuck together in a little group, but I think I'm yeah, I'm thinking maybe the top 5 will stay the same. Maybe we'll jumble it up a little bit. It'll be very cool to see the likes of Oliver in the Williams go up to the podium again, but we'll see.
As 18 drivers then make their way towards the grid. Remember, Perez jumped his pit box, and you can do that in this game as well, but you get disqualified and start a few meters back. And let's see then, will Burmeister get swamped in the straight? Will Adams and Smoke pick up the slipstream behind the Williams to get him into turn 1 like Verstappen did on Carlos Sainz going into turn 1? But Sainz got him back immediately on lap 2 with the DRS enabled. We're seeing the lead lost plenty of times around here where the slipstream has become very effective down the straight. But here we are then, ready for the lights as the drivers look but never stare, as the 5 lights are underway for Mexican Grand Prix. It looks like the Aston Martin in the background got some mighty start. That's Mindful Wasp up into 6th place immediately. Cassidy side by side with Smoke there. Smoke's dropped into 4th place. He's boxed in. Nowhere to go. He has to stay in 4th place there. But Burmeister gets a lovely launch and he maintains the lead of the Grand Prix as we head down towards turn 1. Cassidy on the inside of Adams there. Great start from the Aston Martin and the Sauber driver. But Cassidy has lost it at turn 2 and turn 3. And Adams immediately takes the place back. Here comes Cassidy now side by side with Mindful Wasp. The 2 places he's gained, he's lost immediately. As we go down towards turn 4, Smoke looking for a way back, but he can't quite do it. As Johan, both Hasses are squabbling over P7 and P8, both for different strategies. A bit of a tap there from the Alpine of Energy Dan, but here comes Johan on the inside now, and he takes 6th place away. That's great racing indeed, but for Cassidy, had a great launch, but unfortunately, lost it immediately.
Interesting start.
Incredible stuff indeed. But what have you seen, Andy? What's interested you in that start of the Grand Prix?
Martin was kind of dancing up and down the field at the beginning, but he's stuck to P11. I saw a few people drop down. Atlas Scopo, if I'm saying that right, dropped 4 places, so maybe we'll see him gain them up again. But we'll see, yeah.
The main person of the start was Mindful Wasp. What a great start for Mindful Wasp. Gained 5 places, started down in P8.
Amazing
I
start.
saw him have an amazing launch in the background, and he's able to capitalise on that and take away P4 from Smoke and Cassidy as well when he made a mistake going out turn 2. But the DRS is enabled. Burmeister only momentarily broke himself out of the 1 second range of DRS, but Adams probably used a bit of battery trying to edge himself forward. Now the DRS is enabled. There is 3 DRS zones around here. He's able to stick with the back of Burmeister, and we'll see how it pans off the race. We've got people on different strategy, of course. They are your people. The top 6 on the medium compound tyres. So the medium runners getting away well, as you expect, in the early stages. But we'll see. The highest hard runner is Energy Dan in P7. And we'll see, can he stick at the back of this DRS train? Could it pay favours later towards the Grand Prix? But Williams is in the Grand Prix so far. Let's see, can they keep it up? Williams are currently down in P7 in the championship, surprisingly, but Burmeister hasn't really had a teammate that's been up there for the whole of the season. But that was a look for move there from Mindful Wasp. Mindful Wasp is looking really strong in this Grand Prix too. A great start, and he's already putting pressure on Adams. This is great for Aston Martin, especially with Mansell out. Here he is out of the final corner then, right on the back of the gearbox of Adams. Already going alongside is the Aston Martin driver with the McLaren going wheel to wheel. They both have DRS at the back of Burmeister. How hard are these two going to fight it out as we'll watch them go down towards turn 1. Burmeister breaking out the toe as we head towards the braking zone we go. Adams is going to fight it on the outside, but he backs out of it going into turn 2. So he thought about long term. He knows in the championship fight, he knows he can't afford to make contact, especially in the early stages. Oh, here comes Smoke now on the outside. Into turn 4 we go, but Adams has him covered in the background. I think we saw Energy Dan and Electro Dan going at it. That's a tongue twister there, Electro Dan and Energy Dan. But hey, here they are together, the hard compound tyres, Ellie.
Yeah, Clutter's trying to get past Sonic Hawk, who is obviously on the hard, so it'll be important for Clutter to try and get past as quick as possible. But it seems like Sonic Hawk is hanging on because of this DRS train we've got going on.
Yeah, both RBs in P11 and P12, they've been close together quite a lot this season because I know they made contact twice this season, in Bahrain at the first race and in Imola down at turn 7 where I think Sonic Hawk took his teammate out twice in that race. Well, in Bahrain and in Imola, but hopefully no more contact between those two. And there's a Haas in the background. Is that Electro Dan? It was, I think it was. Was it him or was it Johan? I'm not quite sure who it was, but one of the Hasses. But look at Mindful Wasp, right at the back of Burmeister. He's about to take the lead of the Grand Prix. And for the first time this season, Mindful Wasp takes the lead of the Grand Prix. And let's see then, can he keep it there? Energy Dan has lost it 2 places. Electro Dan and Oliver has got past him, but Energy Dan trying to fire around the outsides of the inside line. Going into turn 2, there's contact there, like there was between Perez and Colapinto, or should I say Lawson Colapinto, as we exit the corner there. Smoke is alongside Adams going into turn 4, but stays behind him in the McLaren as we go down towards turn. Oh, Martin there almost outbroke him, but stays in P10. He actually overtook Dan as well. Dan squirming under the road, and here comes Sonic Hawk. He's a ghost, is Energy Dan, and now Klusler starts to put pressure on the RB. Remember the RB and Red Bull made contact yesterday. I think it was Billy G and Dominic as well who made contact going into turn 7, but this time they keep it clean. There was a bit of wheel banging, but sometimes that happens in racing, and they keep going once again, pointing in the right directions. But Mindful Wasp has got some mighty pace to the Aston Martin, almost breaking a second away from Burmeister, and he has.
Yeah.
Can Mindful Wasp control this race? And I know Mindful Wasp has had his struggles this season, fair shares of disappointment, but this time in Mexico, he's really started to look alike, is Mindful Wasp. And maybe it took a bit of time going. Here comes Smoke now side by side with Adams. He puts himself into P3. Can he take 2 on? As he's got the overspeed and the DRS on Burmeister, who is defenseless with no defense shown there, and he puts himself into P2. But Burmeister now might be under pressure for Adams, trying to go around the outside, and that's a lovely move. Have the inside line goes to turn 3. Adams puts himself into 3rd ahead of Burmeister. Got swamped there on the DRS. That's how powerful the DRS is, Ellie, around here.
Just way past Xenon, but it's not looking good for Xenon because he's on the mediums, so he doesn't really want to be stuck behind the hard runner because he will need to pit eventually and ideally be ahead of them. So I don't know how quick the mediums die around here, but
yes you do.
Yeah.
You did a race yesterday.
Yeah, but mine were very bad. I was sliding a lot yesterday, didn't really have the best setup, but these guys look a lot more under control than I was yesterday.
Casti and
Johan
Johan.
fighting.
Casti made a big mistake out of turn 12, which allowed Johan to go through. Both Hassers looking really strong. Look at Casti, look at that, squirming all over the place. He has no rear grip at all. The back end of the car looking unstable. Now Oliver is looking to take advantage of the hard compound tyres. Here he is, passing in the final corner. I don't think Casti will have the DRS, so we might get absolutely swamped by these guys behind. Let's see if DeSalva has DRS. No, he doesn't. Here comes Zedham. But Smoke is on the back of Mindful Wasp as we go down towards turn 1. And Mindful Wasp covers the inside line there, forcing him to go around the outside, but he doesn't do it. Martin's ahead of Casti as we head towards turn 1. We go side by side between the Sauber and the RB, and Casti there losing places. You can see the back of the car just really struggling there, doesn't have the setup of the grip at all around this circuit. It's a high altitude circuit with less grip, and the downforce levels don't really match because it's a dense this track. And Casti now has been overtaken by Energy Dan. He pulls himself up into P10 ahead of the Sauber, who continues to drop backwards, and the other Sauber of Ginger Tiger has gone for a spin, and he rejoins down in 18th place. So Sauber is not having a good time out here, unfortunately, in Mexico, as one Sauber struggling, the other one has gone for a spin. Klusler's now next to one to put the pressure on the Sauber driver in front of him. Look at that, the speed is carried through the corners already in the middle sector. They're both on the same tyres, and can Klusler get down the inside of turn 12. Let's have a look. He's late to the brakes as the Sauber stays ahead, and here comes Copo. Will he take advantage? No, he won't. Stays behind his teammate for the time being. But all eyes on the top 4, all in this DRS trade together. The top 4, this is going to be a mighty scrap between those guys. All feisty drivers indeed, and they've all got their own talents and skills. And here comes Smoke now. Will he take the lead of the Grand Prix? Yes, he will. No, he doesn't, because Mindful Wasp is coming on the inside. But Smoke, with the drive and momentum, is able to stay in front of him and take the racing line and goes up into P1. This is a great scrap for P1 here, Ellie.
Definitely, and Atlas Copo just made a double overtake on both Casti and Klusser, so that moves him up to P11.
Smoke goes a bit deep.
Cassidy got swamped by the both of them.
Smoke went a bit deep into turn 4, allow Mindful Wasp to go around the outside, and that is Adams looking to go down the inside. That's a bit of an optimistic move there, and not really a way through. That's Burmeister trying to go side by side into turn 7. That's where Max Verstappen took out Lando Norris in the race, but luckily, they both made it out without any contact. Adams there took a lot of curb, I think, in the exit of turn 11 and turn 10. And now he's under massive pressure from Burmeister. May have picked himself up by trying to be violation, but Burmeister does not go for the move here, and he stays will have the time being. All these guys being very aggressive is allowing Electro Dan and his Haas teammates to be brought into play too. So both Haasers are running a really good race around here in Mexico. I don't have the voice right now. I'm really struggling, but try my absolute best here, Ellie. Heck was Smoke now taking the lead of the Grand Prix with the DRS and the overtake button available to him. Mindful Wasp has no choice to concede the position, and that's to stay with P2, but he knows if the DRS on the next straight. Oliver will overtake Joachim. Up into P6 he goes. This is a great scrap going on here in the midfield. I'm really happy about all these drivers because they're keeping it nice and clean. Hopefully I don't jinx myself here, but they're all keeping it nice and clean. We have seen a bit of contact, but rubbing his race, as they say, as the top four remainers they are for the time being, with Smoke in P1 ahead of Mindful Wasp. Adams follows through in P3. Burmaster fourth ahead of Electro Dan. Electro Dan has joined this battle. He finished sixth. Oh, look at that massive slide there from Adams. The back of the car is really complaining. I think these tyres now are starting to come to an end.
Cassidy just lost 3 places, so I'm wondering if he's maybe got a bit of damage, but I can't quite tell. He's just dropping back. He's lost 12 places as a whole throughout these 8 laps.
Maybe the tyre pressure a bit too high and he's just suffering with constant overheat, so there's just no recovery there for the Sauber. But look at Zedam there, who almost overtook Joachim going out of turn 12, but the Haas had a better exit. They both wobbled out the corner, but Joachim was able to stay in front, but he's going to be under massive pressure from the Ferrari driver behind as we head towards the leaders then. Here we go on the main straight once again. Here comes Mindful Wasp and Adams too with the power of the DRS. Will Mindful Wasp go for the move? He will, as we head down towards turn 1. Having the inside line there, and he takes first place away again from Smoke. These guys constantly changing positions here in this DRS trade. Smoke, Martin is ahead of Zedam. In fact, was that a double overtake from Martin?
Double overtake from Martin, and it was a great one too. He just went on the inside and absolutely took them all.
Incredible indeed. Here comes Copo now in the back of the Alpine of Energy Dan as we head towards turn number 4. We go to heavy braking zone, but the Red Bull driver is stationary. He can't go anywhere, of course, in that DRS train. Looking for a way past, trying to recover something from this race is Atlas Copo. We know he's got some great pace on his day. In the background, as Keith and Emil's going at it too for the battle for P13 and P14, just further behind this DRS train. But Electro Dan is running a solid race, and Zedam becomes the first driver to pick up a 3-second penalty. I thought he was running a good race considering where he started, but now he's picked himself a penalty. And can Oliver in P6 join the back of this battle? It's going to be very difficult to be on the back of this battle because these guys ahead having DRS, and Oliver always under pressure from Martin and Zedam behind, so it's going to be very difficult for Oliver to catch up, and we'll see if he can later on in the Grand Prix. But here we are with the top 5.
And who was that? Joachim has spun out. I don't think he's got any damage though. He's probably too quickly on the throttle through the last corner.
Joachim, once again, like I said, good in qualifying but suffers in the race, and that's where it seems to be his kryptonite so far this season. Just race overall pace has not been strong for him at all. But Smoke took the lead ahead of Mindful Wasp. Burmeister got past Adams for P3. He ghosted past him. It wasn't a solid overtake there from Burmeister. He'll tell you that any day of the week, of course. There's no rule for that. There's no penalty for that. But Adams won't be too happy. He lag spiked behind him into P4. That's the top 5. Also close again. Oliver is not able to gain the time he needs to try and catch up towards the top 5. He starts at 11th place. He's up to P6. Running a really decent race, but he's under massive pressure from Martin and Zedam out behind too on the medium compound tyres. But I expect these mediums start to fade away very shortly, and therefore the crossover point between the hards and mediums should start happening. Therefore, Electro Dan should be in the sweet spot on the hard compound tyres and should be able to try and be faster than he can on the hard compound tyres.
And Cassidy pitted onto the hards. So I don't know how well they'll last till the end, but maybe he will stop again for another set of mediums. Or maybe he's hoping for a little bit of rain for a safety car.
Electro Dan's up into P4, but no, Adams comes back around the outside into turn 3. Here we go. It gives him a bit of a squeeze. Electro Dan is forced the corner cut there, unfortunately. Picks himself up a 3-second penalty. Burmeister is alongside Mindful Wasp as we go down towards turn 4. We go. Let's see, can Burmeister get ahead? Yes, he can. Good move there, but Adams giving a hat squeeze like we saw with Perez and Liam Lawson in the race too. And unfortunately, Electro Dan picked himself up a 3-second penalty. Can he appeal? Can he appeal that? I'm not quite sure, but as you can see, I'm already struggling to speak here, so apologies guys, I've got a really sore throat, but I'm trying my absolute best here, hence why I was struggling yesterday too. But here comes the Haas driver looking to take revenge on Adams there for P4 as we head down towards turn 12 we go. Smoke now leads the Grand Prix, but I think the McLaren went a bit deep into turn 12, but Electro Dan is not able to make a move. Now I did hear your headset moving around, so I think Noldus is on the mic.
That is very true.
Hello mate, how you doing?
I am doing good. This is already looking to be a good race. I'm currently watching the battle between Keeps and Emils back here, and it looks like Keeps is going to line up a move. I did see that Emils went on a move the lap before, so it looks like they're trying to keep swapping places to potentially gain some time back and catch up to the front runners.
And this time, Electro Dan does to Adams what Adams did to Johan, but this time does not get a through ticketability because he gave him a squeeze at the exit of turn 3. Martin's up into P6. Now Zedom is going side by side with Oliver. Oliver covers the inside line to try and turn it into an overtake, but not fully alongside to make that happen.
Oh, Emils and Keep side by side. Emils back out.
Who's caused a yellow flag down there? Is it a Haas? Is it is it a Sauber? I'm not quite sure who it was.
Yeah, it's Yarham again.
Now you're on the mic, Nordus. How are you feeling for tomorrow's race? Have you done any practice? How do you feel for the track?
I think quali will go good, but I'm struggling with tire wear and sliding. As soon as the tires, especially the mediums, I don't like them at all on this track. But well, I think I could do pretty alright in quali, but just the race, yeah.
I am with you tomorrow, not on commentary. We could be against each other for the first time.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
If it was 2023, I'll absolutely smash you, but unfortunately this game doesn't suit me. Here comes Burmeister. Here comes Burmeister for the lead of the Grand Prix. Up into first he goes, and this is great battle between all these guys, just constantly swapping with DRS. But if you notice what happened to Adam in P5, he's currently 1 second away of the DRS, so I think he started to struggle on those mini compound tyres. The grip is no longer there for him. Here comes Electro Dan now on the back of the Aston Martin, and he stays in P4. But these tyres are starting to come alive now for Electro Dan, being better than the medium compound tyres. The mediums just started to fade away. It started to reach that point where the medium compound tyres has reached the end of his peak, and therefore these guys are just in management mode, trying to stay on the track and make sure they get towards their hard stint. Are you still there, Nodus?
Yep, I'm watching the P6 to P9 train here. Looks like they're just following each other pretty closely, but I can see Xenon, especially now in the second sector here, slowly dropping off with his medium tires, which are clearly starting to lose the grip, and he needs to think about boxing soon.
Oh, Electro Dan almost lost it at the final corner, and now Mindful Wasp is on the back of Smoke. Burmeister is pulling away slightly. The gap is 8 tenths between those two, but I dare say it will come down with the DRS the guys behind have as we make our way now on the main straight, going down into turn number 1, and Smoke does not make the move on Burmeister, a bit too far behind. Adams is still in the DRS range. Martin is ahead of Oliver. That's a three-way scrap for P6. Atlas Copo is also still there. Atlas Copo goes a bit deep into turn 1, but still manages to hold his racing line going into turn 2 and turn 3. Johan has picked himself up a 3-second tablet 2, so a lot going on here. And now Atlas Copo's at the back of Martin going down into turn number 4 we go. Has the inside line, but Martin is a bit late on the brakes. He stays in P6, and as you can tell, Nordus, my voice is absolutely going.
Xenon has now dropped out of the train ahead of him, and I can tell that Energy Dan is gaining on him slowly on his, well, not fresher, but his hard tires. And Xenon has dropped it, and Energy Dan is through. Not sure quite happened, but I'm guessing the grip just went away from him, and he was too hard on the throttle.
The Haas unfortunately got swamped by Emils and Ginger Tiger. He was in the middle of a sandwich, was the Haas, and one overtook him on the outside, the other went down the inside, and he got demoted down to P16. So Brad in P11 went for an early undercut. Adams is in the pit lanes giving his medium compound tyres on the hard to go. Zeno has pitted himself up a 10-second tablet. Smoke is ahead of Burmeister, so I think these guys now will start to respond from the pit stop threat from Adams, and I think Adams should get the undercut and be in the lead of the Grand Prix. The top G is up to P10 ahead of Zenum. He pitted a time ago, and I dare say he will undercut the leaders, so that should be very interesting to see how it goes for him. All those guys hunted down towards the Grand Prix, we're about to find out. Joachim picks himself up at 10 second tablets for speed in the pit lane, same with Zenum there, so a few people getting caught out with speed penalties, and he's retired in the pit lane too.
I'm looking at a lot of the batteries, at least at the bottom half of the field here, and a lot of them are around the 20-ish mark, and it looks like they're all derating on the straights. So it's whoever can manage their battery better here, I feel like could have a big advantage.
So, yeah, I know that the Mexican Grand Prix can be a real killer in terms of battery because you're on the throttle quite a lot in the race as well. It's very hard to harvest ERS. So Burmeister and Mindful Wasp, Smoke is in the pit lane. Mindful Wasp and Smoke are in the pit lane, and they drop out of the equation too. So those guys then on the hard compound tyres, we know Electro Dan will elongate his stint on the hard to try and go towards the medium compound tyres and take them towards the end and try and challenge the guys who are on the hard compound tyres later on in the Grand Prix. But we know he's got a 3-second tabletty caused by Adams. Martin's just picked himself up a 3-second tabletty. Where is Adams? He's up into P8 now. He's rejoined ahead of that pack. He's overtaking top G on the fresher tyres. He's up into P7. So that undercut has really worked in his favours. Oliver Martin going side by side, going into turn 4 here. Martin trying to stick him on the outside, makes contact and loses the car. And that battle has ended in tears there between those two. But Martin is still pointing in the right direction there, so we can still try and make a move on Oliver, try and catch up towards him. Not quite sure how that happened. Maybe he made contact with the wheels there.
Ginger Tiger just made a move on Xenon with 6 laps older tires. So it looks like, and now Xenon also lost a position to his teammate. So I'm thinking maybe Xenon is struggling here. Maybe he lost confidence in the car, or he's just tires are cold. I guess we'll have to see.
Mindful Wasp, I think he's picked himself up another 3-second tabletty. I think, is it his first? Yeah. Mindful Wasp has picked himself up his first 3-second tabletty. Burmeister is in the pit lane then, and that concludes his medium compound tyres stint. He'll go on the hards, and I dare say he'll rejoin right behind those guys too. He'll be last in that DRS train, but we'll see then. But Mindful Wasp, he was going for gold here in Mexico, unfortunately picks himself up a 3-second tabletty. Mighty pace, but consistency is key. And he's in the pit lane. Why? What's happened to him? He just came out of the pit lane. What's he doing? Has he picked up damage? I'm trying to figure out what he's doing. Yeah, he's picked up end plate damage. Oh, Mindful Wasp. This race has gone from bad to worse. He's unfortunately picked up some front wing damage, and he goes onto a bonus medium compound tyres. What rotten luck there. He was looking like a real contender for a race win or a podium, but now he's dropped into P17 and dead last.
Yeah, that was a lot of positions gained at the start. Brilliant start from him, but unfortunately, it's ended in, I wouldn't say tears, but it's ended badly.
Yeah, Mindful Wasp, who desperately needed that result because he's only picked up 1 podium this season so far. That was back in Saudi Arabia. It was also a double Aston Martin podium. He's been close to them, but every single occasion he got beaten because of a 3-second tabletty or people on better tyres towards the Grand Prix. Oliver and Martin back for round 2 again. Let's see if they can keep it clean this time with Oliver just in front of us and Martin behind with the DRS. Obviously, these guys will extend their stint on the hard compound tyres, trying to reduce the life on the mediums towards the end and have the best tyre life. So
Xenon has dropped it again.
Where is he? 16th place now.
Yeah, Keeps and Sonic Hawk made their way through there.
Now we've got Martinez up into P3 on a podium paying position, but we know these guys haven't pitted just yet. But will these guys be quick towards the Grand Prix? Despite Adams overtaking top G, he's still in the DRS range of the McLaren driver. So I thought Adams, with that overtake, will be able to pull away. Burmeister stays back in contention. He goes a bit deeper to turn number 1 here. So top G is bringing along Burmeister, Smoke, and Adams as well for good measure. So Adams will be under massive pressure once again. The guy that went for the early undercut, pulled the trigger, has taken the net lead of the Grand Prix, but now Burmeister's back. Same with Smoke and Burmeister. And my voice, by the way, is absolutely going. It's a bit sore, so I'm trying my absolute best here.
No worries, mate. You still sound good. No, not intended like that. But I just saw that Smoke just made his way through Cluster, which means he will now have clean air to try and catch back up to Burmeister, who obviously undercut. No, it was the other way around. Burmeister stayed out for 1 lap longer and is ahead of Smoke, but Smoke will try and close that gap nonetheless.
So Burmeister overtook Smoke on the straight, but for some reason Smoke's lost a bit of pace, and now Klusler is all at the back of him. Klusler pitted a long time ago, and now he's at the back of Smoke, and we'll see the final corner as Burmeister is right behind Top G. Burmeister would dearly love to clear the Mercedes driver so he can set his sights on Adams in front of us. Oliver is up into P3. Nope, not anymore because Martin is still fighting with him, and Martin stays in P3. Here comes Top G. Here comes Burmeister. And Adams has been dropped into P8. Great pace, but here comes Adams back up the inside into turn 2 we go. And that was very close between those two. Oliver in the other Williams has got his own problems to deal with Martin constantly scrapping away with him. But now Burmeister's back up to P7. Smoke is under massive pressure. What's happened to his pace on the hardcore powered tyres? Doesn't seem to be going his way whatsoever. He's got Klusler on all the tyres, putting pressure on him. So I'm not quite sure in his second stint what happened.
No, it's very weird because that was very close before Klusler overtook him again. But he managed to keep him behind. And by the looks of it, he just has to try and, if he doesn't have the pace, he should see if he can do some swapping of DRS with Klusler. But if he has a pace issue or if he has damage, it's looking unlikely for him to be climbing anymore.
Look at that. Adams all at the back of Burmeister once again, as he knows that he can tow along Burmeister all day until the final few laps of this Grand Prix. Just sticking his DRS until towards the end, because ideally you want to be following the leader, try and make sure you stay keeping his sides before the final few laps of the Grand Prix. Martin and Oliver once again swap places. He's up into P3 again. Here comes Burmeister at the back of Top G, despite being on all the tyres. He's still in P7. Now he's in P7 because Burmeister just overtook him. So Burmeister is up into P6. But despite having much older tyres than these guys, he's still showing some great pace. Is Top G pitting quite a long time ago, and in the middle of this fight for the net lead of the Grand Prix. Can he stay there, or will his tyres get worse towards the end? We saw some great pace back at the USA Grand Prix and the Spanish Grand Prix too. He's on all medium compound tyres versus and newer hards, and he was still able to stick there. So despite having all the tyres, his pace seems very good, and a real contender for this league is the Top G.
Yeah, definitely. He's been showing some good pace recently, and I do think the top runners, at least some of them, should be heading into the pits, at least maybe this lap or next. Oh, we have someone dropping it in the back.
So that's Ginger Tiger has gone for a spin, and he's lost his end plate too. That's where Kevin Magnussen crashed last year in the Haas. Oliver has gone for a pit stop, so that's the end of his stint on the hardcore powered tyres. Energy Dan has picked himself up a 3-second time, unfortunately for him, so bad luck there. He pits, so, I think I know what he's done. Here comes Adams on the Top G, and he puts himself into P5. Did Energy Dan cut the white line to go in the pit lane and pit himself a penalty that way?
If so, then he could be reported for that, and that would be very, very unfortunate for his race. Get a penalty for that.
I don't think it was a speeding penalty, unless I'm trying to think of situations how he's done it. Maybe where could he have possibly done it? Did he red out too wide in the final two corners and pitted himself a penalty that way? Just exceeded track limits normally before he headed the pit lane, maybe due to lack of grip.
And when I think about it, I don't think you get a penalty for crossing the jumping into the pits, if you think like how Hamilton did at that one time. But so it's I don't know.
I remember back in Abu Dhabi when in league racing, that's Adams looking for a move on Burmeister, but I'm going to go for down at turn 12. I remember if you took it a certain way in Abu Dhabi and Vietnam at the end of the pit lane exit, you pick up a 3-second penalty. And Saudi Arabia was also another one too. Atlas Copo is in the pit lane too, so is Martin to get rid of the hardcore power tyres. They're looking to fight with Oliver as the guys will reclaim their positions they started with. And Electro Dan is extending his stint on the hardcore power tyres. We'll see his pace towards the end.
Oh, Cassidy just lost it. Well, he didn't lose it. It looked like he let him through, and he's gone into the pits.
Yeah, Cassidy was one of those drivers that really did struggle. I think he's given up because he just spent in the pit lane. And usually when people do that, they retire it immediately. But Cassidy's really struggling. Yep, caught it there. Oh, Mindful Wasp again picks himself up with a second penalty. Where is he? Oh, he's on a P16. Remember what happened to him? He had end plate damage to go for a second pit stop.
Yeah, and we now have an almighty scrap here from P2 down to P6, all in a train of each other. Lord Brad and Klusser, of course, on the older tyres, but looks like they'll be able to keep it up. Still got a good grip in those hard tires. They last forever.
They do indeed. When will it let you down pit? Because I remember the longer you stay out there too much, the less time you have to try and catch up to the back of these people and overtake them too. Because remember what happened to Smoke in the Singapore Grand Prix? He stayed out there way too late, and it cost him towards the end. He got Mindful Wasp because Mindful Wasp picked himself up another penalty. Electro Dan is finally in the pit lane to go on the medium compound tyres. Watch out for him towards the end. Be very rapid on those medium compound tyres. And with 13 laps left to go, can he catch them? He'll rejoin all the way at the back of this train and further behind too. Let's see. I think he should be able to rejoin ahead of Alex Copo, which he should do. And now Electro dancing through the air to try and catch. Look at that, the top 5 are just so far away. But Klusler,
Here comes Oliver.
you know Klusler's done a really good job so far in this race. Oliver's up to P8 ahead of Emils, but shout out to Klusler in P5. Great pace of D from the Red Bull driver.
Yeah, he's been just sticking to the back of Smoke and now in the back of Top G, and they're looking to be maybe edged out of the DRS, but. Yeah, it's been close, and he has definitely, well, yeah, he's got the second worst tires in the race, and off almost. So yeah, he's doing a great job.
I can't wait to see the end of this Grand Prix when the top 3 fights are. Can the top G towards the end of the Grand Prix stay in 4th place and be in the back of this DRS train? He's dangerously close out being our DRS range, and he's under massive pressure from Klusler. I think the hard compound tyres. Those hard compound tyres are not providing the grip he needs through the corners, trying to stick closer towards the top 3. But he's still trying his best at the top G. He's got DRS on this lap, but he's got to watch out for the Red Bull right behind too. Got to watch out for Electro down in P6, although he does have a 3-second time penalty. But here we are, there with the top 3. Here comes Klusler now with the DRS enabled, overtake available, and the top G did no defensive moves whatsoever because he knew that the Red Bull had the DRS and didn't find that one too hard. But crucially, 4th and 5th now are out of this battle because they are the DRS range. So I think it's down towards the top 3 to see who will win the Grand Prix. Adams is putting Burmeister under massive pressure, and he goes up into 1st place there. And I can't wait to see what happens at the end of this race because Burmeister and Adams, remember, are the championship contenders for 2nd and 3rd. These two will leapfrog Mansell if they stay where they are towards the end of the Grand Prix. So we'll be 1st and 2nd in the championship, but which way round?
Yep, as Keith's just made an overtake down the main straight on the Emils to put himself up into P9. It looks like, yeah, well, doesn't look like he's gonna catch up to Oliver anytime soon. Oliver being on the fresher mediums, only 3 laps, but you never know. Towards the end, those mediums die off really hard, and you'll start sliding.
We'll find out.
Emils picks up 3 seconds.
Look at that. Adams had a massive mistake in the final 2 quarters. Burmeister is weaving left and right. I'm not quite sure why he's doing that. But here comes Smoke now. He pulls himself up into 2nd place. He has the DRS on the back of Burmeister. Will he make a move? Adams is moving left and right. So I'm wondering, did I miss those two making contact? Top G is up to P4 now ahead of Klusler. But did you see what happened between those two?
Unfortunately, I was watching Keith's at the moment, so I didn't get to see it. But that was definitely very weird, especially when someone weaves like that, it's in frustration, trying to say, yeah, just show that you shouldn't do that, or just send a message. So something must have happened for sure.
Adams did not get DRS either, so I'm just assuming that those two made contact, and clearly those two are happy. So Burmeister could be weaving and saying sorry, and Adams could be weaving because he's angry. But Burmeister is pulling away now. He's broke the gap of 1 second only just though. So Smoke will have to use a lot of batteries to try and get himself back in the DRS range of Burmeister, because if Burmeister pulls away, it's so hard to be back in the DRS range. Adams goes out wide, so the pressure might be getting to him, and maybe potentially also could lose the podium here too. So Adams needs to keep it nice and composed. They're all at 1 second range of each other, the top 3. But Adams is trying his best to try and get back in there. The DRS detention point is right there. Burmeister has just set the fast lap of the Grand Prix, and now he starts to check out. It's wide open, but he's looking to try and get himself further towards Smoke. Even with the DRS, he's dropping backwards in comparison to the RP driver, so I think the McLaren could be running more on the downforce there setup.
I think also Smoke has managed his battery better than both Adams and Burmeister, because I think maybe Burmeister used a lot of his battery to try and get out of that DRS, and I think Smoke is going to try and use his battery now to get back in.
So we could see that Adams might be dropping out of the podium here with the top G, and I think Ferrari spun out of turn 2 and turn 3. That's Emil's going for a spin at the exit of turn 3 and keeps it going once again. So not been a good race for Ferrari at all. But Burmeister is pulling away, and he could be looking on course for his second win of the season, and also looking on course to take away the championship lead as well. So this is looking really good for the Williams driver, having the pace to break away from the DRS range. And now Adams is going to put pressure on Smoke in front of him. So Adams managed to get himself back in the DRS range, crucially, to keep Top G and Klooster behind. Klooster and Top G got some mighty pace despite being on older hard compound tyres. Great pace indeed. But because he's Top G, he's going to be under pressure there from the Red Bull driver, with the DRS enabled on the back of the rear wing of the Red Bull. Goes side by side with him, and he puts himself up into 4th place. And can he catch Adams, or is it a bit too much of a stretch? The gap is 1.4, but he picks himself up at 3 second time penalty. He caught turn 1 there, and that's a slam dunk penalty for him, unfortunately. And he's 2 seconds away, so they lost a lot of time there in the first few corners. So it's down towards Adams and Smoke, but Smoke is pushing so hard to try and get himself back in the DRS range of Burmeister. So it might not be over yet, but CJB has said good evening, shame about not me making it time, but oh well. Hope to see you next time, Calvin. But yeah, hopefully you're alright, mate. But the gap is 1.3, so Smoke just can't seem to get himself back in DRS range, Noldus.
No, it doesn't seem like it, no. And I'm looking here at the intervals and the gap to the leaders, and I have a feeling that the mediums are going to die off before they can get that gap down. Especially the top 3, because they keep gaining. Now I think they've really broken free from both Klooster and the top G here. And I just don't think the mediums are going to last and have that much of a tire delta towards the end.
If Adams wants to take the championship lead away from Mansell, he's got to finish in 2nd place. But sorry about that. I'm definitely losing my voice. Top G now is up into P4 ahead of Klooster. But these two now, unfortunately for those two, they're out of the DRS range, and there's no way back because those tyres getting too old for their liking, and therefore the top 3 are just pulling away. Keith is ahead of Martin, surprisingly, unfortunately, upon hard compound tyres, but the hard compound tyres are a much better tyre in general, hence why you see that the guys in the hard compound tyres just pull away and everlasting, and the guys in the mediums are able to close up as quickly as they want, because like you said, once Electrodyne catches up, if he does catch up, those medium compound tyres could fade away, and therefore the grip will be in favour of top G inclusive. It sounds silly saying 20 lap old hards versus 5 lap medium compound tyres, and you just think in your head, oh, he's able to catch him easily, but at the same time, the medium's not a great tyre at all.
No, it used to be like that on F123. The hard medium strat was clearly the best strategy for almost every track. But this game, the hard is just such a much better tire compared to, well, the softs are unusable, but the mediums, they have great pace, but they fall off way too fast in comparison to the hards, and already Keeps has already pulled the gap to Martin, which just shows you how much more grip he has, even though he has got 7-8 laps older tires than what Martin has.
You can really see that the top 2 are pushing so hard to try and get in and break away from the DRS. Their rivals are really going at it, and Smoke is desperately trying to get in the DRS range of Burmeister, but he keeps dipping in and out ever so slightly, not getting in the 1 second range at the right time at the right place. Is Smoke. He's pushing hard as he can against Burmeister, but he just can't seem to find a way to get back in the DRS range. Burmeister is doing a fantastic job to try and keep the gap over 1 second, but now it's 9/10 of a second. But Smoke does not have the DRS on the back of Burmeister, so he might get it if he can keep it in the final sector under a second. But can he do it? That's the question. I noticed that Smoke has got some great straight line speed, but in terms of cornering pace, it seems like Burmeister seems to be better in the corners than on the straight. So I think you can see the difference in downforce setups there between Burmeister, Smoke running a lower wing, and Burmeister running a higher wing too. Same with Adams running a higher wing in P3.
Yeah, personally, I always prefer to have more cornering speed over straight line speed. I like to be able to just have more pace, I would say, than over straight line speed. But it's all about a preference thing, and I like my car, well, more oversteer than understeering, which understeer is more for more of straight line speed type setup.
Yeah, same with me. I've always liked more cornering speed sets and more downforce because I'm not good at controlling the car in the high speed corners. I'm not really good at controlling the car and sliding it into correct use. But Adams has dropped away now. The gap is 1.7 there. So Adams is struggling now in P3. And I think it could be down towards Smoke and Burmeister. But Smoke is so frustrated. He just can't seem to get in the DRS range. And Smoke and Adams!
Oh!
They both pick up a 3-second time penalty in harmony, and now Burmeister is the one to win this Grand Prix for sure. I think the pressure is off Burmeister's shoulder. He can afford to make a mistake and let Smoke in his DRS, which he has done, because now Smoke is in the DRS, and Smoke would have been so frustrated there. So all Burmeister has to do is keep it nice and clean towards the end.
Yeah, I just saw Adams had a big slide, went on the throttle a bit too early there. So I think those hards are still going to slowly start to drop off now. I will drop off slightly, but not in comparison to the mediums, which I already think are over. Electrodan is closing into Clusser and Lord Brad, but for the last 2 laps it's been a stable 9.5-ish seconds up to the top 2. So Lord Electrodan could potentially get a P4 on merit, but I don't think there is a chance that he can catch up to the top 2 who just have, or top 3, who just all have mighty pace and better tires.
Smoke has finally caught up to the back of Burmeister, but unfortunately he's picked himself up a 3-second time penalty, and I don't think there is any way that Smoke can win this, unless, of course, Burmeister picks himself up by 3-second time penalty. So Smoke has got to force Burmeister under massive pressure, try and make him outbrake himself into corners. And here we are, side by side, into turn 12, but backs out of it. I think he's trying to distract him. I'm trying to make him get a corner court penalty in the legal way, because he's trying to distract him and make him go out wide, maybe something like that, maybe try and put him under massive pressure in the braking zone, etc. So try and get him a 3-second time penalty by distracting him, but obviously don't force him off the track.
As Atlas Scopo gets a 3-second time penalty in sector 3 there.
And did you see that? What Burmeister just did? He just drove on the grass.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Probably getting to them both now. But I don't think they should worry about Electrodan. I think it's just a straight out fight between them two, and then Adam's just got to try and keep it nice and clean and try and do a George Russell, pick up the pieces if he can.
Electrodan just did a double overtake on the inside of Top G and Kluster, just got on both on the straight. He's up into P4, but it's a bit too far away for Adams, so I think Adams is secured in P3. I don't think there's any chance for Electrodan to catch him. The gap is at 4.7 seconds there with about 4 laps left to go. I don't think he'll catch him or overtake him either, so I think Adams has nothing to worry about unless, of course, he makes a mistake. But the top 2 then, back in close contention once again, is the RP driver Smoke. And Smoke could be a real championship contender, but I think he's a bit too far back to be a championship contender. He is. Just a bit too far back. Mathematically, he might be in it, but realistically, I think he's out of it. So I think Smoke just joined a bit too late there, mid-season. He did make his appearance back at the, I think it was the Italian Grand Prix in Monza. He went to the win, 3 wins in a row, and he almost got his 4th in a row in Singapore, but the safety car came out and he pitted a bit too late. And Smoke is up into P1 again ahead of Burmeister. And Burmeister knows he just needs to keep it nice and clean. Don't make any sort of silly mistake. Do not pick up a penalty, because they'll be back in a level playing field and therefore have to fight it on the track again. Kluster and Top G going side by side to turn 1, turn 2 and turn 3. And Top G is ahead. Kluster is standing around there on the hard compound tyres. Pitted very early in this Grand Prix on lap 11, and he's paying the price now. Martin and Oliver side by side to turn 1. Martin is ahead. Oliver. Keith is on the back of him. Oliver's made a mistake out of turn 3. Keith is through on the DRS, but bogs down. Didn't pick up the traction he needed. He was up into 4th gear, so carried low revs. Now going into turn 4 we go. Keith looking down the inside, but can't quite do it, so Oliver survives that threat from him.
I do think Oliver, out of these 3, will have... Not Oliver, sorry. I mean, Keeps will have, as absurdly as it sounds, will have the best tires towards the end and the advantage. But however, Oliver is currently penalty free, so if he just keeps it close and keeps us right behind him here now, will he go for a move? I don't think so. I don't think that's smart. You want the DRS for them both, since there's a double detection. The smart thing is to just stay behind and try and overtake on the main straight.
That was a very scary move for Burmeister at turn 12. Burmeister ran off the track at turn 12, but that was very important indeed. He may have picked himself up a 3-second penalty, and any more of those, he will pick himself a penalty. And we're back to a level playing field between Smoke and Burmeister, so Burmeister can be very careful. There's no need to go and risk it against Smoke. You got everything to lose here as Burmeister, especially in the Championship too, and needing all them points. Burmeister will take the Championship lead away from Owen Mansell. And Owen Mansell, whatever he's doing right now, hopefully he's okay. We hope to see him back in the next race as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'm friends with Mansell, but I must give a shout out to Burmeister because he looked to be way far behind in the championship earlier this season, but he has just been so consistent and is now looking for the win. If you think about Smoke's penalty, he's going to get this win regardless. So I just really well done by Burmeister to keep it so consistent, podium after podium, and just keeping it high up on the field, getting top fives.
I think Williams has spun in the middle set. Is that Oliver? Oliver it is. He's gone for a little bit of a spin there, but Burmeister and Smoke going down into turn 1. Do you know what? Notice, I'll let you commentate the last 2 laps. I'll give it over to you because I'm done.
I'll give it my best then.
No pressure.
Okay then. Closer and the Lord Brad still keeping up with each other here. They've been fighting for the entire stint of their 27 lap old tires from Lord Brad and Closer with the 24 lap old tires. It's a bit of a stretch now in the field. Unfortunately, it looks like Oliver is going to drop out of the 3 seconds for Keith's. And then Martin will be finishing ahead of Keith's unless Keith's can do something on this lap to catch him up and do a last lap overtake. Just watching the top 2 here, Burmeister. Even though he will win this race regardless, you always want to win it on track. So will we see him move down into turn 1? Or will we wait for the second double detection? I'd say, in my opinion, I would say you would want to go for the overtake on the main straight, which it looks like he's going to. The DRS is open, burning the battery. Here he comes. Easy move into P1. Easy move for him. I don't think Smoke's going to fight that one too much. There's nothing he can do really. Burmeister has the better tires as Closer makes the move on Lord Brad to take the position ahead of him on track, but he has got penalties, a 3 second, so Lord Brad will take that position back. And we get a scrap between Keith's here, taking the position away from Martin, which he did. He did catch up on the last lap, on the penultimate lap there, to get himself ahead of Martin. Yeah, Burmeister, controlled race. He will take a lot of points away, and with that, he will also take the championship lead. Amazing race by him. Controlled it from start to finish. Just easy. Burmeister goes on, crosses the line any second now to win the Mexican Grand Prix. Wiggles to show his happiness. Well done. Good race, Burmeister. Well done. And we have a yellow flag. Oh, that is Sonicock, it looks like. No, it's Zenon. Unfortunate there. Lord Brad, P4, Closer P5, P6, Electrodan. Keith's next to cross the line. He will take P8 ahead of Martin. And then Oliver will come in around the final corner here. Sonicock makes the move on Zenon. I think Zenon's tires, and yeah, he drops it there. Unfortunate. Here comes Anujadan, P12 for him, and then Sonicock.
Sorry to put you on the spot there, Nordis, but
No,
my voice,
okay.
I'm really sorry. It's your first time commentating, I make you do the last 2 laps. I'm really sorry about that.
That's fine.
But I got to say, Nordis, this is our first time commentating together.
Yeah, it is. It was a lot of fun, I must say. Me and Ellie swapping there.
Yeah, and you took over from me, so you took over Ellie and you took over from me. So yeah, well done today, Nordis. I enjoyed listening to your last 2 laps. You did well there.
Thank you. Yeah, just trying my best there. I mean, Was it went a bit sterile there in the last few laps. Big stretch in the field, but overall it was a very good race. I think Burmeister will take great joy in taking maximum points, except for the fastest lap, to take advantage of Mansell not racing and take the championship lead.
It does take the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Yeah,
Oh, does he?
16.6, yeah.
Oh.
So, maximum
Well
points
done to
there.
him.
It's pole, win, and the fastest lap, a Grand Slam. Well done, Burmeister, today. Fantastic. Goed gedaan vandaag. And yeah, he'll be very happy with that one indeed. It's a maximum points for the Williams driver, and Burmeister will become the championship leader ahead of Owen Mansell, and I presume Adams will move up too. So Owen Mansell has a lot of work to do after this race next week. To Chop G from 16th to 4th, Klusner from 14th to 5th. Great race from then. Despite not catching up on the older tyres, despite having older tyres, did a fantastic job. Electro Dan not catching up, and despite having horse to mediums towards the end, the mediums not really doing their due diligence to try and catch up towards the end of the Grand Prix for those two. But yeah, we'll not do podium interviews tonight because I can't be bothered to talk anymore. I'm trying to recover.
That is completely fine by me.
But yeah, Ellie and Aldous, I want to say thank you to you both for joining me on the commentary team. And yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you both and commentating with you both for the first time together as well, all three of us.
Yeah, it was fun. Thank you.
Tell her I said that too, Aldous.
I will do.
So tomorrow we move on to Div 1 in the Mexican Grand Prix. I don't know who your commentators are because I think Owen Mansell has got a situation going on. I'm not quite sure if he's ill or not, but we'll see if he does do commentary tomorrow. If not, I'll have to sacrifice myself. But I do want to race. I am the first prioritised on the list to race for the reserves tomorrow. So, Aldous, we commentate here, and I might see you on the track tomorrow.
Definitely. It'll be good fun. You keep it respectful and nice, and I think we'll have a good race.
I just need to keep it on the track. That's all I need to do because I am so bad at this game. I need help. I've fallen off so massively. It's just unbelievable. I can't get the grip to this game. I don't understand the handling models of it.
It's drastically different from the last one, but I will say it's in a lot better state than it was at the start of the game because that was shocking.
Anyways, I'm going to go to sleep, Aldous. So thank you very much for commentating with me tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
Yes, it has been. Thank you for commentating even though you were sick. Have a good night.
Yeah, try my best, but I'll see you later. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
We need to play Star Wars 2.